Hello everybody, in this video we're going to talk about the area of a circle. So you probably already know that area is equal to pi r squared, and that's what we see right here at the top of our screen. But why is it pi r squared? Well, we're going to talk about why. So if we look at this circle right here, what I have done is I have divided this circle into a number of pieces. And over here on the right side, I have taken these pieces and I have arranged them to show you what shape these pieces would look like. Now, I know that the tops of these pieces would be round like this since we are pulling them from a circle, right? So it would look more like this, right? We would have a rounded shape like that. But as you can see, this looks like a parallelogram, okay? So if we think about the area of a parallelogram, it is just area equals base times height. And what I have done is I have added in the height right here because that would be the radius of our circle, the segment from the midpoint, the center of our circle, to the edge of the circle. Okay, now we can think about the area of this parallelogram and we can derive or come up with area equals pi r squared for our circle. So if we think about the base of our parallelogram here, okay, this is half of our circumference, right? It's like taking all of our pieces and putting them together. Now this is going to be 1/2 of the circumference. Well, we talked about in a previous video about circumference. I'll link it in the cards right now. Circumference is equal to 2 pi r. So now we have that the base is equal to 1/2 times 2 pi r, and we can simplify that to get a base of just pi r. So that's our base. So now we're going to take our equation here, we're going to say area is equal to pi r times, and what did we say the height was? Well, it is just the radius. So pi r times r. And that is where our area formula for the circle comes from. So area is equal to pi r squared, okay? Now let's take a look at 3 examples where we are given one thing and we are asked to find another. So the first one, we're gonna find the area when the radius is 8.5 inches. So we're gonna set up our equation, area is equal to pi r squared. And now we have area, is what we're trying to find, is equal to pi, and then we're going to plug in 8.5 for r. So in my calculator, I'm going to do 8.5 squared, and that gives me, so area is equal to 72.25 pi. And remember, you can write this, your answer in terms of pi, so that would be one of our answers. Or now we can multiply that by pi in our calculator, and we're going to round this to say area is approximately 226.98, and that would be square inches. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put a box around both of those answers. So they are the same thing. One is just in terms of pi and one is not. All right, number 2, we want to find the diameter when the area is 153.94 feet. So we'll start with our equation, area equals pi r squared. But now this time we know the area, so we're going to plug in 153.94, and we're going to set that equal to pi r squared. Okay, now our job here is to solve for r, and then once we find r, which is the radius, we can just double that to get the diameter. So I'm going to divide both sides by pi, and my calculator, 153.94 divided by pi, and that gives me 49.00006. So we're just going to call it 49. It's very, very close to 49, which is great because now that's equal to r squared. And so we can take the square root of both sides and we get r is equal to 7. Now we know when we introduce the square root that it's actually positive and negative 7, but since we're talking about a length here, we're only going to stick with that positive answer. So since the radius is 7, the diameter will be 7 times 2, so 14, and it is in feet, okay? And our last example, we want to find the radius. So it's going to look very similar to number 2, but we don't have to multiply our r value by 2 because we just want to know the radius. So we can start off with area equals pi r squared. We know our area is 176.7 feet, and that's equal to pi r squared. Once again, let's divide both sides by pi, and we can come over to our calculator, 176.7, and divide that by pi. And it's going to give me 56 we'll call it 25 equals r squared. And now let's take the square root of both sides. Remember, we just want the positive value here. So I'm going to do the square root of my calculator. And this is going to give me r is equal to 7.4996. So we'll call it 7.5, and it is in feet. okay? And that is how you find the area of a circle, and that's where the area of the circle formula pi r squared comes from.